Pavilion Banqueting Hall, comprising 2 beautifully decorated modern guest suites with seating capacity for up to 1,100 guests. An ideal choice for engagements, weddings, Mendi parties, exhibitions and seminars. Supported by the latest sound and video technology, air-conditioned and free Wi-Fi. Contact us today and see how we can make your vision a reality. The Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall, located on Featherstall Road South, Oldham. A perfect choice for your perfect day.
Welcome to UK24, where we have a special edition during the blessed month of Ramzan Kareem, and during this community hour we introduce you to those people that make a real difference in our communities. Their sacrifices and their passion for working with communities is something that is beyond words, but what we try and do during this programme is introduce you to some of those projects, community ventures and initiatives that help bring communities together and revive the spirit during this blessed month. So Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome, Salam.
Mr. Mayor, it's wonderful to have you again here in the studio, and you are here in your official capacity as Mr. Mayor.
Alhamdulillah, I'm absolutely honoured and delighted to be here, and nearly wasn't, but Alhamdulillah, yes. It's an absolute honour to be still representing the communities, and you know, throughout my year as Mayor, it's been an absolute dream. Never in a million years did I ever think that I would be in such an honoured position. But it's the community who have given me this opportunity to, you know, say thank you to them. So yes.
I think you're absolutely right, Mr. Mayor, because obviously you've just gone through the re-election, and Alhamdulillah, you are a councillor for Werneth Ward for the Labour Party, representing the Labour Party. During that time, prior to the elections, we saw you out and about doing your duties. But I think it's also important to remember that even during the election period, where everybody was knocking on doors, you were still carrying out your duty as Mr. Mayor as well as that. So how was it in terms of juggling the two? Because it's quite a stressful time, isn't it?
It was very stressful. See, the thing is that throughout my mayorship, I set myself and the community a huge challenge to try and raise a 6-figure sum that nobody else has ever raised. A 6-figure sum is £100,000. So my formula was to inspire 1,000 individuals to donate just £100. But they had a year to save the £100. So throughout the mayoralty, throughout the year, I've been trying to inspire local communities, local businesses, local individuals, local school children to, you know, save and donate to the Mayor's charities. So I was 110% focused on trying to beat this, attain this figure of £100,000. And then the elections kind of crept up behind me, and I knew they were coming, but I was so busy with trying to raise funds for the Mayor's charities that it just caught me off guard.
I mean, what's the schedule like in terms of being the Mayor? I mean, obviously it's a privilege and an honour, but it's also a lot of grafting, isn't it? A lot of hard work, because I know on one occasion I spoke to you and you said, oh, Shanaz, 7 o'clock in the morning or 8 o'clock in the morning, and then you were working right through different campaigns, meetings and organisations. So tell us about that.
So, as the mayor, I mean, I've had up to 10 engagements in one day. And that's official engagements where you've got to turn up as the mayor. So, you'll be pleased to know that the chain doesn't stay at my house. And it comes with a bodyguard, and the chain and the driver come to my house, for example, an hour before the engagement, depending on where it is. And then we go for the engagement, then the driver drops me off and goes back to the office and locks the chain away. But on this particular occasion, when we had 10 events in one day, we were just literally going to the office, and then people would come to the office to meet there or going out to different venues. So it's stressful in regards to you don't have time for the family, you don't have time to do anything else, and then you need to fit your normal life around that. So it's stressful in that respect, and it's also stressful that you need to, when you go to these events, the public who've invited you there, often on the application form when you engage with the mayor, often they say, there's a question there, would you like the mayor to say anything? And most of the time, or often, they say, no, the mayor doesn't need to say anything. But in actual fact, when you go, you're asked to, would you like to say a few words? And then you need to be able to think on your feet, on the spot. And alhamdulillah, I've been very, very lucky this year, and I've managed to, do that on the spot, and I've kind of, prepared it as I'm in that particular environment. So yeah, I've been really enjoyed it.
I mean, we live in, Oldham in particular, where you are, Mr. Mayor. It's a very mixed community. Most communities are very mixed, but it's a very diverse, mixed community. Do the events that the mayor goes to, do they reflect those communities in terms of ethnicity, gender, faith, political backgrounds, etc.? Yeah,
the communities across Oldham and Greater Manchester have engaged, wholeheartedly with the mayor and the team. So, I've been to numerous events in Saddleworth. I've participated in the Saddleworth Santa Dash. There weren't many Asian participants. I think 2,000 participants turned up, and there were possibly 4, maybe 5 Asian participants. So I don't see myself in any different. I'm part of the community. I'm proud to be an Oldhamer, and I can, irrespective of if I was the mayor or the councillor, I can go into any part of Oldham and feel at home without any issues whatsoever. Be it because I've been in different occupational backgrounds, and I'm comfortable with what I've done and with what I can do, and I'm comfortable with engaging with different communities.
Just on that note, Mr. Mayor, before we move on to the actual Mayor's charities, and I know you've still got a number of programmes lined up before your mayorship ends in order to reach this fantastic figure. We live in very troubled times sometimes. I mean, you would look across to Oldham, and sometimes if you didn't watch the news, you perhaps wouldn't know how troubled some of the areas are. But whether we how big or small those troubled times are, there are certain aspects of the communities who do feel certain disengagement, not just within the faith groups, but community in general. And there seems to be a rise of people who want to act in a particular way, and the word extremism is used, the word terrorism is used, hate is used, very strong words. Living in Oldham and your year as a mayor, have you come across any incident or any time where you have felt that as an issue for yourself?
As the mayor, and even as a councillor, I've never encountered, any hate or discrimination. It could be due to my physique. It could be due to my attitude towards, the community. Because if you have a positive attitude when going into any meeting or confrontation, then the first appearance is always very important. So you need to be mentally prepared for challenges, verbal or otherwise. And if you have a positive mental attitude before you go into that engagement, you know, you will be successful. And alhamdulillah, I've never had any issues, even at work in my security days when I was a part-time supervisor for a security company, 12 years. And I've never had any issues working with the Greater Manchester Police. Again, never had any issues, altercations where I've felt threatened.
Let's move on to the actual Mayor's charities. I mean, you are seen as a humble giant, if I may call you that. And we have got a video which introduces some of the other characters that you played. If I may say so, Mr. Mayor, from what I've seen and many people that I've spoken to during this year, and obviously during the election period, is that you have won the hearts and minds of many young people who've got involved in charities. And perhaps, as you said, it's to do with your personality. How have you managed to do that?
Well, the general consensus among the people of Oldham was that mayors and people of of a high calibre seem to be in their own world. They seem to be out of touch.
Sort of traditional,
very traditional,
white, male, middle class. Boring, if I may use that word.
Not necessarily white. Even some of our Asian councillors who have been mayors, they've kind of thought of themselves as better than the rest. Well, I'm not better than the rest. I'm still the rest. I've tried to engage with the communities, and that's the positive feedback that I've had. That this mayor is down to earth, and so you don't forget your roots. Yeah, and alhamdulillah, I'm proud. Of being a taxi driver, being a pizza delivery person, being a shopkeeper, market trader, you name it. I'm absolutely honoured and proud that I've had those occupations, and I've been given the opportunity to now be the mayor. So what I've been trying to portray is that you might be the mayor, but you're still a human being. You don't forget your community, you don't forget where you've come from, and I try to portray people in my life, try to put them in my shoes, give them an opportunity to feel welcome and inspire them to challenge themselves and step up to the challenge. So there's a saying that I've been saying all year round: together, let's inspire to aspire. Yes. And that, is exactly what I've been doing. I've been inspiring our communities, our younger generation, our school children to aim high, think big, dream big, and inshallah, if you stay focused and determined, you will get there.
I'm very pleased to know I actually started to adopt that saying, and it's about inspiring to aspire. We are going to move on to a break, but in that break we're going to show a video. It is quite a short video, but I think it actually is very poignant in things that we've just been speaking about, and it's about personality. I think more than anything it's about personality and what Mr. Mayor is all about. So let's move on to the break. We'll watch the video, have a short break and come straight back into the programme. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, my name is Councillor Javid Iqbal and I'm the Mayor of Oldham, but I'm no ordinary Mayor. I'm big and I'm bold, and together let's inspire to aspire. No Oldham Mayor has ever raised a six-figure sum, so let's work together to achieve this target. Throughout the year, I'm going to be holding a number of events and challenges, and I'm going to be wearing some crazy costumes, like now. Watch this space. If you smell what the Mayor is cooking, picture the fool who doesn't get involved.
Pavilion Banqueting Hall, comprising 2 beautifully decorated modern guest suites with seating capacity for up to 1,100 guests. An ideal choice for engagements, weddings, Mendi parties, exhibitions and seminars. Supported by the latest sound and video technology, air-conditioned and free Wi-Fi. Contact us today and see how we can make your vision a reality. The Eastern Pavilion Banqueting Hall, located on Featherstall Road South, Oldham. A perfect choice for your perfect day.
Welcome back to Ramzan Kareem, a special community hour where we've just been speaking about the Mayor's fantastic year. The video in the break that was played, for those people that haven't seen it, sees you in different characters, and some characters that are more well known to people of my generation, perhaps not to the younger generation, but lo and behold, I think across the generations there are people who we can all remember and you know, obviously part of our childhood. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about why you decided to do that? Because that's not normal, is it, for mayors to do to dress up and to do that kind of thing?
Correct. It isn't normal for mayors to do that, but I just wanted to bring some fun into the morality. You know, the morality is serious, and you know, you need to bring fun into it to enjoy it, and hence. Somebody suggested that I, because I've got the gold chain on, somebody suggested that I try and impersonate Mr. T, B.A. Bracker, so I thought, why not?
And who was that? Can you tell us who was it behind this? Is it a friend or?
Yeah, well, my cousin, Saima, she works a lot with the voluntary sector, OPAG and Oldham Action Group and various others, so she does henna and children's face painting, and she said, why don't you dress as Mr. T, because you've got the bling. So I thought, okay, so I went about
and the physique and lots of things that we could see in common.
And it was just literally, you know, thinking outside the box, how can we get the Mohican? And she provided with the paint and everything else, so we got a net, you know, a hair net, and we got some cotton wool, and we pulled the cotton wool through the net and then sprayed it black. And that's how you got the Mohican. And then the beard was just literally painted on. But it was really, really well received. And
Kojak.
And Kojak, obviously, you know, and Telly Savalas from back in the days, when I was a teenager, used to watch that, you know, regularly, same as the A-Team as well. And then The Rock, who's more younger generation, Dwayne Johnson, you know, why not? So we were looking for other individuals who we could, you know, do a parody video, but we couldn't find anybody else. So I think 4 or 5 was sufficient.
And which one was the favourite one?
Definitely Mr. T, definitely, because I've had a number of requests from schools and various, you know, organisations to attend their events as Mr. T, and I have done. So, you know, local schools, when I say, you know, inspire to aspire, so I've inspired the local children to, you know, try and donate funds to the Mayor's charities. So a number of the schools invited me as Mr. T, so I went along, and one school in particular have raised over £1,500 from their pocket money, from their non-school uniform days, and, you know, having other events at school. They've raised over £1,500 throughout the year for the Mayor's charities. So, you know, and it's an absolute honour. So overall we've raised, I think we're close to 60,000. I was just adding it up this afternoon. And we've got a number of events.
Still lined up?
Still lined up, yeah. We've got 2 weeks, so we've got a number of events lined up. We've got the Grand Iftar Share Ramadan on the 14th of May.
That's on Tuesday.
On this Tuesday coming at the Grand Venue. So tickets are still available, and, you know, other guests and dignitaries will be there. So please have a look at my social media links. The details are there. So that's the 14th, this Tuesday coming. And then next Thursday, we've got an event that the Mayor's charity team have organised. That's sold out. It's a canal boat trip around Salford Canals, the Lowry and the Quays. So that's sold out.
Let's hope it doesn't rain.
So it's a full day from 11 o'clock till 5 o'clock, and lunch is included. Fortunately, I'm fasting, so I won't be participating in the lunch. But yeah, so there's a number of events still, and we're also chasing the 100 or so people who promised to pay or to donate £100 each. So my team are busily contacting those 100 individuals who promised to donate £100. And even now, if you go to the Mayor's website at Oldham Council, there's an online donation page. If you want to donate, every penny helps.
So these charities, Mr. Mayor, if you can actually tell us about the charities. I know that we've spoken about them in different events, but in charities as a whole, you have 5 charities that you chose. If you can tell us a little bit about them and why you chose those particular charities.
So I have 5 local charities, but why did I choose these charities? If you cast your mind back to the early settlers who came to England in the 60s, 50s and 60s, their mindset was, we are going to a foreign land and we want to work as hard as possible and go back and resettle back in their home countries, Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, wherever.
Yes.
So their mindset was, we're just going to go to a different country, work and come back. But then, later on in the early 70s, mid-70s, 80s, the influx on the families started to happen, where we became anchored to the UK, our home now. So these charities that I'm trying to raise funds for are there for all the communities. So our individuals, our communities will benefit from these. So for example, Dr. Kershaw's. Dr. Kershaw's is a cancer charity. It's a respite centre where people go when they've been notified of their terminal illness and they have a few weeks, days, months left. So within the English community, the children, the offspring tend to take the parents to an old age people's rest home to live there, whereas within our communities we used to, and we still do, a large proportion, we still look after our parents, but there are the odd individuals within the aging communities that tend to take their parents who are suffering from these terminal illnesses to these establishments.
But also, Mr. Mayor, in terms of Dr. Kershaw's, it's about giving respite, isn't it? So it's about supporting families, and I think the stats that show, 1 in 3 or 1 in 4 people will be affected in some way or another by cancer, whether it be a family member or themselves.
Yeah.
And what this charity does, and charities like them, it gives those families and those that support. So if they need that time for themselves, or they need to have a night where they sleep, or if they have children and they need to take them away or do something, it's about support mechanisms, isn't it?
Correct.
And there's no harm in that, is there, Mr. Mayor? Because sometimes within the Muslim or the Asian communities or wider communities, even some of the other communities, there is an element of guilt that they have to be there 24/7. But nobody can they?
Correct.
And they need that mental well-being to support them.
So, for example, Dr. Kershaw's is providing this much-needed service. So we are here, and we need to invest in the local services that are being provided by the local charities. So hence why it's very pertinent that we participate and support the charities who are there to support us. So Maggie's is another cancer charity that provides information and guidance and support to the families and parents, but this is based at the Royal Oldham Hospital, and where the family members and the individuals can go there, talk to like-minded individuals and be away from the 4 walls of the house. So those are the 2 medical charities, and then we have Oldham Action Fund. Again, it's a superb charity that provides guidance and assistance to smaller groups and charities within Oldham. So if you wanted to I don't know, for example, wanted to plant trees and you didn't know how to go about it, you would go and engage with Oldham Action Fund. They would give you guidance and support, but also will be able to give you a small grant to go and purchase these trees and how to go about them. If you have a local community group, a local football group that the local parents have created, you could apply to Oldham Action Fund to give you guidance on how to become a charity, how to become a voluntary organisation, and the rules and regulations behind that. But they'll also give you a pot of money where you can go and buy the kit that you need. So they are there for the smaller charities that don't know how to go.
And how much, in terms of funding, is there a sort of top end amount?
Well, for example, Oldham Action Fund give funds from £500 to £10,000. So, but they've, besides themselves, they have a database of organisations that give funding to, up to £100,000 million. So it's always, advisable to get in touch with Oldham Action Fund if you're, along those lines. And then you have mind, health and well-being. We all, the majority of the community tend to put mental issues to one side, they tend not to talk about them, whereas Mind is an up-and-coming charity, the local Mind, Tameside, Oldham and Glossop, so TOG is my charity. And they provide guidance and assistance to individuals and families of how to go about the issues, the social issues that technology that we take for granted now, it's got lots of advantages, but it has also disadvantages. The social interaction is becoming less and less.
I mean, most recently we've heard a lot about mental health issues and young people, and how many young people feel quite secluded and isolated, and they've lost the art of communicating. We'll send a message from downstairs to upstairs for a cup of tea, or there's no real communication. And I know most teenagers, you've got teenagers, our teenagers, and they tend to just grunt more than they actually communicate. But besides the teenage tantrums, that there is a real sense of isolation and loss of communication. But like you just said, in terms of brushing the issue under the carpet or trying to get rid of it, there still seems to be very much a reluctance to accept that mental health problems within all communities is something that we need to address. Correct.
There is a bit of you could say ignorance, or people not the priority list, but there are issues, and Mind is trying to address those. But we can assist them by donating to the Mayor's charities. But if you don't want to donate to the Mayor's charities, you can tangibly assist Mind or any of the other charities by going and becoming a volunteer for them, because they're always looking for volunteers. And then my final charity is a local church. It's a St Thomas's church that's made itself into a charity because we have a grade 2 listed building that's really at the heart of the community, but it's underutilised. Most churches in the UK are, their congregations are dwindling on an annual basis. Yet we have this church, a superb building in the heart of the community that can be seen across all of Oldham, but it's underutilised and it's kind of, you could say, falling to bits. So they've converted the church into a charity, and they're going to make it into a community hub. So they're going to take away the chairs and make smaller offices within the church. So they've had underfloor heating installed, and so these rooms that they're going to make, the local community can rent and then run classes. So the school, which is right next door, St Thomas's School, are looking at running after school additional tuition classes. There are people who want to do ESOL classes there. There are people who want to do, learning English for the local community who find it difficult to go, into town or into other places where other establishments are. This is right at the doorstep of the community. So again, it's a charity, it's a community hub, so we need to proactively support these because they are giving benefit to the local community.
So I mean, there's a quite an array, isn't there? Quite a selection of different charities. How does it work, Mr. Mayor? You know, in deciding, I mean, there's so many wonderful causes out there, and each year, whichever mayor comes along will choose. In choosing these, one of the things that you've said is that they are there to serve all communities. Is there a particular reason why you chose these 5, or was that the main reason?
These, I mean, I could have gone for national charities, but national charities tend to have, you know, their structure is different, where they've got paid board members, and majority of the donations tend to go off towards their salaries and other bits and bats. Administration costs, yeah. Whereas with the majority of these, I'm not saying all, but with the majority of these, the local charities, and the structure is that majority of the funds that are there are going towards, you know, for the local citizens.
I mean, you mentioned volunteering,
yeah.
Mr. Mayor. Volunteering is something that across communities, no matter what faith background or non-faith background they come from, the backbone of the United Kingdom, and in terms of service, even the hospitals, and if you look at all across the board, you have people who've retired, come back into volunteering and doing something. What would you say in terms of trying to encourage people who are watching this programme, to be involved, to do some kind of volunteering, no matter how small or large the time may be?
See, the thing is that annually, central government's funding is being reduced, you know, literally on a day-to-day basis. And it's these volunteer groups that are coming in that are picking up those services. So we need to, in one of the quotes I said before, we need to love where we live. Okay, so if we all participated in, you know, helping to get the community together to do a community clean-up, it would assist the council in, you know, by allocating the cleaning tasks to somewhere else, or utilising the manpower that's going to be used for street cleaning there to another area, or for another occupation. So, you know, we need to participate. And it's the same with the charities. You know, we need to volunteer to the charities so that they can, you know, inspire their local communities to get involved and spread the word that what they are doing. So, you know, Oldham Action Fund, they have numerous events throughout the year, you know, so they need lots of manpower. But
how good are they actually disseminating that kind of information? I know if you're somebody that goes onto social media and wants to find the information is there. But in reality, it seems to be very, this is my own perception, if you're part of a group, then you find out. If you're not part of a group, you never get to know. I mean, today you were just telling me about an event that's happening at the weekend in Superheroes. That's something that you're going along to.
Yeah.
I work here and I didn't know anything about it.
So the event of the weekend at the Queen Elizabeth Hall, the Superheroes, it's an event that's been organised by an organisation. As far as I'm aware, it's not a charitable organisation. I could be wrong. So there'll be a ticketed entrance there, so it's more of a business venture. Whereas these organisations, the charities, you know, that I'm referring to, our local charities, they have outreach sessions, they have community engagement events throughout the whole year. You know, Oldham Action Fund engage with communities at the Spindles, at various other events. They try to engage with the community by participating in community events. So the Kuali night we had last week, before the elections, you know, my charities were there, you know, intermingling with the communities. We've got the Grand Iftar next week, and the charities will be there. So they are, you know, out there within the communities, not necessarily on individual social media links, but they are there, you know, trying to create tangible links with the communities. So, you know, they are doing their work.
I mean, you've said that you managed to, alhamdulillah, raise around about 60,000 so far. I mean, we want you to reach the six-figure in terms of the remaining 40,000. You've got 2 main events coming up, and then obviously people are still adding. I know that along with that, you've also had some business people who've supported you from different communities, who've put in pots of fund. Are you still hoping that you're going to be able to reach out to those people and ask them to help you get to the final target?
Oh, definitely, yes, definitely. Bilal Bhai from Manchester Superstores, alhamdulillah, you know, he's helped me considerably. We have Iftikhar Majid from Pin Properties, alhamdulillah, he's been an absolute gem. And we've got Anil Masarrat as well, and, you know, Clash Clothing.
And these are some of the big boys,
yes,
the minority ethnic communities, and they've got big businesses and they give out to lots of charities, and they've supported you throughout. They have,
and you got Sir Norman Stoller, you know, from Madlow, and, you know, he's donated £10,000. So, you know, big and small organisations, businesses, you know, have come forward to donate. You know, a number of other larger organisations have promised but have yet to deliver, but we won't shame and name them at this particular time.
But when you talk about inspiring them to aspire, maybe some of them would be inspired to aspire to ensure that they actually partake in something that is very, very important. And it's all about charities, isn't it?
It is.
You've got a list of the 100.
Yes.
How are you getting on with that list? I know that your community champions, the unsung heroes, go out and they speak to those people and they're trying to get through the list. Is there a lot of people in that list? They've yet to give you the £100.
We've got about 50 individuals that are still yet to deliver.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's getting there.
Yeah.
You know, and I shared a Facebook message a couple of weeks ago, saying just a gentle reminder, please honour your pledges. So I'll be sending that out again later on today. Yeah.
Excellent. So here we are, we're going to go on to another quick break and then we'll finish off the programme. So if you maybe are one of the 50 people left from the 100 list, the top 100 list, you're very privileged to take part in the Mayor's charities, then please do contact not us, but obviously Mr Mayor and his team. And if you are watching the programme, I know lots of you have actually joined us and are watching the programme, then get that message out to everybody that we still have a wonderful opportunity to take part and to ensure that we support these wonderful causes. Let's take a quick break and we'll see you straight after that. Assalamu alaikum.
My name is Councillor Javid Iqbal and I'm the Mayor of Oldham, but I'm no ordinary Mayor. I'm big and I'm bold, and together let's inspire to aspire. No Oldham Mayor has ever raised a six-figure sum, so let's work together to achieve this target. Throughout the year, I'm going to be holding a number of events and challenges, and I'm going to be wearing some crazy costumes, like now. Watch this space. If you smell what the Mayor is cooking, picture the fool who doesn't get involved.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to a special community hour during Ramzan Kareem. Mr Mayor, before the break we were talking about the fact that you had a target of 100 people for £100 each you're halfway through that. They've still got 2 weeks. We've done a bit of a shout out to remind them. So it is a gentle reminder. The final date in terms of getting to that amount in doing your mayorship is the 21st of May. 22nd is your final day as the mayor. So these next sort of next 2 weeks or so, less than 2 weeks, is it jam packed? Have you got lots of things going on?
It is. We've got lots of events, lots of bookings, and they're mainly to do with iftar and business openings and other bits and bats. So, weekends here. I've got engagements Friday evening in Stockport. I'm going to have to open the Rosa in the car. Saturday evening again, we've got an engagement again. The Rosa we're going to have to open in the car.
So you can have your pakoras and your chutney and your samosas.
Something dry.
Something dry.
Something just dry for the moment. Yeah.
So maybe not the chutney, but everything else.
Yeah. So, but this time last year when we were, when we'd recently become mayor, we went to an event. I won't say where, but it was fairly close by, and the food was arriving late, very late. So we left, and there was nothing made at home either.
Oh.
So
it's not all celebrity
no.
getting VIP treatment.
Yeah.
So what did you just go to Chippy or something? Do you do that?
We just went home and just had whatever was in the fridge because the family were out as well. So I just literally raided the fridge. But yeah, so it's been a really, really eventful year. Never in a million years did I think I would be in such a position. Never. And as part of my mayoralty, I've been trying to inspire our communities, especially our younger generation. So when the children have come to visit the mayor in the mayor's parlour, I've given them hope that one day they too can aspire to be the mayor or somebody really, really important. But the important message I was trying to portray to them was be there for your community, and then the community will honour you. Collectively, together we stand united, individually we stand weak. So that's what I've been trying to portray to the younger generation, be there for your community and the community will remember you, but stay focused and determined.
I mean, in order to do your duties, I know that you've had to take a sabbatical from your work. What will happen at the end on the 22nd? Have you decided to go back, or obviously you was re-elected as councillor, so you've got your councillor duties. What you're going to do with all the spare time now that you're going to have?
Unfortunately, there's no spare time. I'm a workaholic. But yeah, I've taken a sabbatical from my IT job, and they've been in touch with me. When are you coming back? So I'm going to take a week's holiday and then go back to work, and also help my son with his business, but then also be available for the communities and proactively, do community work that's necessarily and critically required, because in these days of austerity cuts, a lot of families are suffering. So my top priority is going to be to concentrate on the work that the communities require. So I've already had a number of phone calls and emails that, certain types of work is required, and we are already looking into that. So yeah, so the priority is the community, because it's a community who have given me this opportunity to represent them. So priority is the community.
When you get involved in any kind of work like this, and as you've said, you never thought that the humble Javid Iqbal, who's from the community, has done an array of different jobs, from security to taxiing to working in a shop, delivering meats and goods and groceries and all them things, that you would one day become the most honoured civilian in terms of being given the mayorship. How has it changed you as a person? What has it done to Javid Iqbal?
It's made me not forget my roots. I've been unemployed, signing at the job centre, and I've been the first citizen of Oldham. But you don't forget your roots. You need to remember the communities, the people of who have supported you. When I was studying at university, the communities that used to visit the shop used to pay, positive, used to convey positive messages to me that you're 30 and you're going to university, good on you. And, I've met a number of people who have graduated at a later stage in life. And so, you never forget your roots. But that's basically, what I would like to say is a thank you to the communities for supporting me. But, I'm still here. I could have left at any time when I was working in Leeds. I could have emigrated to Leeds, but I didn't, because I felt a sense of belonging deep down in my heart. I felt a sense of belonging to the community, trying to do something for the community like my parents did. So, for example, my parents back in 73, 74, I think it was 73, they bought a house and then they gave it to the mosque to use, not to the mosque, they gave it to the community to use as a local place of worship, because in Coppice we didn't have a mosque.
And there were many small terrace houses.
So they converted
to places of worship before mosques.
Correct.
Evolved.
So they converted, the house was given to the local community to use temporarily as a place of worship, and so my family have been there doing their bit for the community, and I'm doing my bit for the community by being, your community representative, your councillor, and, trying to bring funding and investment into the community. So one of the ways that we're going to try and change our community's hopes is by bringing in training and education and retraining. So when the hub, St Thomas's Church Community Hub opens up, we're going to be bringing in opportunities where local citizens, local individuals from the community can retrain, to do other things as opposed to just relying on the dole. So those are some of my aspirations to do for the community.
So what we hope to do is to invite those organisations. I have met some of those people who are behind ensuring that they are successful ventures. Finally, Ginny Alexandra, she's going to become the next first civilian of Oldham. If you had one message to her in terms of something to remember or something to actually make sure she does in terms of making it the best and the most fun and the most memorable time for her, what would that be?
I would say, Ginny, be yourself and pace yourself, because by the end of the year you will be absolutely shattered, and just be yourself and enjoy it. People are saying the same thing to me this time last year, and I'm saying, what are they talking about?
Enjoy it.
Now I know what it is, and just be yourself and just take life at your own pace and enjoy it, because it's once in a lifetime opportunity.
Thank you for that, Mr. Mayor. I know you've only got a few more days in terms of reaching that fantastic goal. And now the du'as are with you, and inshallah you will. So I hopefully we'll see you in the next few days at one of your events. Thank you for coming into the studio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So here we are, the end of the programme, where today we've been speaking to Mr. Mayor and finding out about those wonderful charities that he has pledged at the beginning of his mayorship to support. And as Mr. Mayor said, these are charities that may not traditionally be known as from a particular faith or a particular community, but they are charities that support people from an array of background, no matter what your faith, ethnicity, gender, or where you come from. So it's absolutely fantastic to hear about those. We've given the information, and we will play the video at the end. You can go on to the Oldham Council website, the Mayor's website, and find more about those, more opportunity to be involved in those charities. And as Mr. Mayor said, it's about bringing communities together, because united we are strong and divided we are weak. And what we must do is continue that battle to ensure that we bring communities together. And Oldham, I'm not from Oldham, for many of you that know. I came here through my work and through my other political ventures, and I found it to be a wonderful, warm place to be. So let's continue this work. We will be introducing you to the other organisations and many other charities. But of course we are working towards the European elections on the 23rd of May. We will have the opportunity to use our vote to make sure that we vote in our candidate for the European elections. And one thing that is very clear, that this vote is not just about the European elections, it's a lot more than that. And when we talk about hate and other things that have been said, perhaps the narrative and the rhetoric that has been used to pull in the vote from particular candidates for particular community or political parties is not the message that we want to give out from the United Kingdom. And the message that we want to give out from the United Kingdom is very, very straightforward. And that is, there is no space for hatred. There is no space for any kind of intolerance of others, because united, as the Mayor has said, we remain strong. So I want to remind those people out there that we will be continuing the coverage in the next couple of days. We'll introduce you some of the members of European Parliament who are standing as candidates from the different political parties. And inshallah, I will join you again tomorrow with another programme. Take care of yourself, because in looking after yourself, we look after each other. Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, my name is Councillor Javid Iqbal and I'm the Mayor of Oldham, but I'm no ordinary Mayor. I'm big and I'm bold, and together let's inspire to aspire. No Oldham Mayor has ever raised a six-figure sum, so let's work together to achieve this target. Throughout the year, I'm going to be holding a number of events and challenges, and I'm going to be wearing some crazy costumes, like now. Watch this space. If you smell what the Mayor is cooking, picture the fool who doesn't get involved.